Part 85. From the City to the Strongest in the Universe. Author, G. Difeng Ren. Chapter 841. The Demon Race Coalition Overlord succeeded. Damn it, I have only cracked 2/3 of the secret pattern, and the Demon Race Coalition Overlord has already cracked it completely. His speed is so much faster than mine. Everyone has tried it before. If you don't crack the secret pattern in front of you, you can't enter the next step at all. The longer they stay on the first step, the greater the disadvantage. The faces of many inheritors changed. Among them, there was a figure similar to the human race, but his skin was completely red, and there was a pair of black wings on his back. He looked like a young man in his 20s. Coalition Overlord is faster than me. This young man is Yuhang Overlord of the Universe Powerful Alliance. His talent is strong. He practiced for 400 years and broke through to become an emperor. He practiced for 2000 years and broke through to become a master. He even stepped onto the 100th talent ladder. At the beginning, the commotion caused by Yuhang Overlord during his rise was not much smaller than Li Yang. Hurry up! Yuhang Overlord's face changed for a moment, and then continued to comprehend. At this time, he was not far from cracking the secret pattern on the first talent ladder. In another place, Li Yang also took a look at Coalition Lord. The first Coalition Lord took a year and a half. Li Yang took a look. The speed is slower than I expected. Retracting his gaze, Li Yang's consciousness entered the Kunlun mirror again. He was studying the secret pattern in the Kunlun mirror. Without studying the secret pattern on the ladder, it was naturally impossible to step on the second ladder. However, Li Yang was not in a hurry at this time, because the more he studied the secret pattern in the Kunlun mirror, the simpler he felt that the secret pattern given by Tianxu Taoist became. As long as he understood enough, it would not be difficult to crack the secret pattern one by one. For example, it takes him a year to crack the secret pattern on the first talent ladder, but if he continues to study the Kunlun mirror, after a month, the time to crack it may only take 10 months. In general, it is equivalent to shortening 1 month directly. Not only the first ladder, but also the secret pattern on other ladders will shorten Li Yang's cracking time. Therefore, Li Yang was naturally not in a hurry. Let Coalition Lord take the lead first, and when he starts to comprehend, he can definitely catch up quickly. Li Yang has this confidence. The Demon Clan Coalition Lord first cracked the first secret pattern of the talent ladder, which obviously caused a lot of fluctuations. Then the strong men of the major clans stared at the inheritors of their own clans, hoping to succeed quickly. And just 3 days later, another person stood up on the first talent ladder. It's Yuhang Lord of the Universe Powerful Alliance. He also cracked the first secret pattern. Everyone was watching. Under everyone's eyes, Yuhang Lord quickly stepped onto the second talent ladder. Success! This Yuhang Lord and the Demon Clan Coalition Lord are only 3 days apart. On the second ladder, Coalition Lord saw Yuhang Lord and him on the same ladder, and his face changed slightly. Lord Yuhang of the Cosmic Powerful Alliance. The previous cheerful mood was gone, and Lord Coalition felt nervous again. After all, it took a year and a half to crack the first secret pattern, and now the gap of only 3 days is really nothing. Humph, even if it is only 3 days ahead, it is still ahead. Lord Yuhang wants to catch up with me, it's impossible, Lord Coalition snorted in his heart. He just glanced at Lord Yuhang, then retracted his gaze and continued to comprehend. Lord Yuhang has caught up. Outside the talent ladder, seeing Lord Yuhang also cracking the first secret pattern, the atmosphere of joy in the Demon Clan was obviously much less. Haha. At this time, all the strong men on the side of the Cosmic Powerful Alliance showed smiles on their faces. Just now, I thought the Demon Clan was completely ahead, but now Lord Yuhang has caught up so quickly, there is a great hope to overtake. Alliance leader, Yu Hong stepped onto the 100th step of the talent ladder, so his talent and understanding can be imagined. Taoist Tianxu said that the difficulty and type of each secret pattern are different. Even if the first secret pattern is cracked the fastest, the second pattern may not be cracked faster, so Yu Heng has a great hope of surpassing the Demon Clan Coalition Master. Yes, Alliance Leader, this time, our Universe Powerhouse Alliance will definitely get a large number of peak holy artifacts, and even get inheritance in the end. One by one, the Masters looked at the front of the Universe Powerhouse Alliance camp, looking at the old man wearing black armor and the elder horn on his head. This old man is the leader of the Universe Powerhouse Alliance, the ancestor of Hunlin. Haha, there is a lot of hope. The face of the ancestor of Hunlin was full of smiles. His eyes went directly to the 100th talent ladder. For him, the peak holy artifact is actually not much to care about. He is the leader of the Universe Powerhouse Alliance, and it is more about the relationship of interest. Now, what he cares about is naturally the inheritance of Taoist Tianxu. Before the inheritance appeared, there were actually 40 top holy artifacts as rewards. Everyone can know that the inheritance is definitely extraordinary. The demon race and the Universe Powerhouse Alliance are very happy. As for other top races and forces, there is an obvious sense of oppression. The demon race's Blood Dove ancestor and the Universe Powerhouse Alliance's Hunlin ancestor are really proud. It's still early now. There are 99 steps, and we are only on the first and second steps now. No one knows the final result. Except for the Demon Clan and the Alliance of the Universe's strong men, the faces of the other founders of the world sank slightly, staring at the inheritors of their own clans, hoping that they would succeed in the next second. The whole atmosphere undoubtedly became more tense. Time continued to pass. After Yu Heng's master, 3 months later, the third person, Binglin Master of the Ice Moon Clan, climbed the second talent ladder. The Ice Moon Clan is one of the 10 peak clans. The clan has a supreme holy weapon, and its strength should not be underestimated. Their strength is at least ranked in the top 4 among the 10 peak clans. After another 3 months, that is, 2 years later, Master Li Ming of the Metal Clan succeeded. After that, everyone's speed of cracking the first pattern was obviously faster. In 2.5 years, 12 people had succeeded. And by the 3rd year, the number of people who climbed the second talent ladder had reached 40. So fast, 40 inheritors have all climbed the second talent ladder. Although there are already 40, there are more than 400 inheritors in total, and most of them have not yet cracked the first secret pattern. This secret pattern is really difficult. Look at that human Li Yang, who is still on the first talent ladder. One by one, the strong men discussed and looked at Li Yang, who was still sitting cross-legged on the first talent ladder, with obvious sneers in their words. Thanks to 08A and Blue Cat Old Ghost for the 100 rewards, thank you. From the city to the strongest in the universe. Author, G. Difeng Ren. Chapter 842. One by one, the strong men were discussing, and many people looked at Li Yang, with obvious sneers in their words. Haha, the human Li Yang's progress is so fast, just relying on the clone. Now without the help of the clone, he can only test his comprehension, etc., so he can't have any advantage. Now that 40 inheritors have stepped onto the second talent ladder, he is still behind. Maybe most of the inheritors present have stepped onto the second ladder, but he may not be able to step onto it. It's too normal. Except for human Li Yang and human Hengsu, more than 400 inheritors are masters. I estimate that with human Li Yang's comprehension, it will be difficult for him to break through and become a master in the future. How can he compare with other inheritors? Human Li Yang, the recognized first genius in the universe before, has been practicing for less than 500 years and has rivaled the master. The 6 masters sent by the 9 peak clans could not take him down, and he even killed 357 top emperors and peak emperors, and even the emperor is invincible. The battle more than 1,000 years ago was the peak battle for human Li Yang to become famous, and it also made Li Yang's fame reach the top of the universe instantly. The major races in the universe even thought that Li Yang could quickly break through and become a real master. Just before, Li Yang's clone was exposed. Although it caused a huge shock and many races were afraid of it, the reason why Li Yang practiced so fast was also exposed. The clones at the level of the natural world realm, the three natural god clones, plus the place of inheritance of the fusion law. Even an ordinary genius, with these, can quickly become a top powerhouse. Therefore, it is normal to practice so fast. With so many clones, many races are naturally very afraid of Li Yang, and when they are afraid, they hope that Li Yang's potential will be lower, or even unable to truly break through and become a master. Once Li Yang becomes a master, the human race is equivalent to having 7 more masters at once. Who wants to see this situation? However, as long as Li Yang does not become a master, even if he has so many clones, he will not pose much threat to them. Just as they expected. Now, Li Yang, the recognized first genius in the universe, who had climbed the 100th talent ladder, performed so poorly in the cracking of the talent ladder secret pattern. Look at another person who passed the 100th ladder, Yu Heng, the master of the universe's powerful alliance, who climbed the second talent ladder in the second place, and was only 3 days behind the first place Demon Clan Coalition master. That is the real top genius in the universe. And now, Li Yang has no sign of climbing the second ladder, which undoubtedly makes everyone recognize that Li Yang's previous talent was a disguise. One by one, the strong men talked about Li Yang in their words, full of disdain and ridicule. The key is that Li Yang had killed hundreds of top emperors from the 9 peak clans before, and the strong men from the 9 peak clans hated Li Yang to the bone. At this time, seeing Li Yang's poor performance, they naturally laughed and ridiculed him. Amid everyone's discussion, another exclamation came suddenly. Under everyone's gaze, the Demon Clan's Coalition master actually stood up again and stepped onto the 3rd talent ladder. The Demon Clan's Coalition master has cracked another secret pattern. He is still ahead. The Demon Clan was overjoyed, and the faces of other major peak clans and forces changed slightly. And 7 days later, Yu Heng, master of the Universe Power Alliance, also stood up. Both of them stepped onto the 3rd talent ladder, far ahead of others. Yu Heng, master of the Universe Power Alliance, also cracked the 2nd secret pattern. The speed of their cracking is obviously much faster than others. Most of the inheritors are still on the 1st talent ladder. If this continues, they may get the peak holy weapon on the 20th ladder. At the beginning, everyone couldn't see anything, but at this time, the gap can be clearly seen. Of the more than 400 inheritors, 90% are still on the 1st talent ladder, and have not even cracked the 1st secret pattern. However, the Demon Clan Coalition master and the Universe Powerhouse Alliance master Yu Heng have already climbed the 3rd ladder and started to crack the 3rd secret pattern. The speed difference is too big. At this time, the Demon Clan and the Universe Powerhouse Alliance are undoubtedly very happy. As for the other clans, their faces are gloomy. 3 years have passed, and 40 inheritors have climbed the 2nd talent ladder. These 40 inheritors are almost from all the major peak clans and forces, so the faces of the previous founders have also improved a lot. But now, as the Demon Clan Coalition master and the Universe Powerhouse Alliance master Yu Heng continue to lead, their faces have become even uglier. For example, the Giant Cloud clan of the top 10 peak clans. The Giant Cloud clan is a bit similar to the Metal clan, both of them have burly bodies, but the Metal clan is a metal life, while the Giant Cloud clan is a flesh and blood life. Damn it, Hangsu of our clan has just stepped onto the 2nd talent ladder for 3 days, and the masters of the Demon Clan and the Universe Power Alliance have stepped onto the 3rd ladder. The 2nd and 1st ladders before were nothing. But now, the Demon Clan Master Coalition and the Universe Power Alliance Master Yu Heng are cracking the 3rd secret pattern, and their Juyun clan master Hangsu has just cracked the second one. A whole ladder ahead. The faces of the founders of each clan were gloomy, and the atmosphere on the human side was also a bit depressing. 7 months ago, only one master of the human race stepped onto the second talent ladder, ranking 7th. This result is actually very good among more than 400 inheritors. However, only the top 5 who reach the 20th, 40th, 60th, and 80th talent ladders can get the top holy weapon reward. The rest, even if they are the 6th, only 1 second behind, will not get the top holy weapon. Li Yang, how do you feel about your comprehension now? The eternal ancestor came to ask Li Yang specifically. Li Yang had been staying on the first talent ladder before. Although he did not become the first or second, he still seemed to be deciphering it. Therefore, the Hunyuan ancestor and the eternal ancestor did not disturb Li Yang. After all, he was not as fast as others in deciphering the secret pattern, so he must be anxious. If they urged him again, Li Yang would definitely be more anxious. But now, the eternal ancestor could not help but ask. He often instructs Li Yang, so he naturally knows the situation of his disciple. In his opinion, Li Yang's soul strength, comprehension, etc. are definitely at the top of the universe. Logically speaking, Li Yang's performance cannot be so bad. This time, the hope of the human race is likely to be on Li Yang. One by one, the top holy artifacts, even the final inheritance, how can the eternal ancestor not be anxious? End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. From the City to the Strongest in the Universe. Author, G. Difeng Ren. Chapter 843. Looking at the eternal ancestor, Li Yang smiled and said, "Teacher, don't worry, the disciple is not only comprehending the first secret pattern, but is also studying the secret patterns on other steps." At this time, Li Yang is indeed studying all the secret patterns on the first 20 talent ladders. He has found them all in the Kunlun mirror secret patterns and is constantly mastering them. Study 20 secret patterns. After hearing what Li Yang said, the eternal ancestor was stunned for a moment. This is indeed a method, but it is estimated that not many people will choose to do this. If you don't crack the one in front of you, even if you crack all the secret patterns on the other stairs, it will be useless. As I write this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. But it seems that Li Yang obviously has his own plans. Okay, you study carefully and the teacher won't disturb you. Knowing that Li Yang was not incomprehensible, the eternal ancestor felt a little relieved and said quickly. On the first talent ladder, Li Yang sat cross-legged silently. Currently, Master Kuishan of the Monster Clan and Master Yu Hung of the Alliance of Powerful Universes are the fastest to crack the secret pattern. However, according to their speed, it will take at least 30 years to reach the 20th talent ladder. Li Yang thought to himself, with light flashing in his eyes, 30 years is enough. His consciousness re-entered the Kunlun mirror. Now start studying the 10th secret pattern on the talent ladder. 3 years have passed. At this time, Li Yang has found the complete secret patterns corresponding to the secret patterns on the first 9 steps of the talent ladder in the Kunlun mirror, and has completely mastered it. As long as he starts to crack it, the difficulty of cracking it will be at least several times easier than before. Time continued to pass, and after Master Kuishan and Master Yu Hung reached the 3rd talent ladder, the entire atmosphere became obviously more tense. As time goes by, the number of people stepping onto the 2nd talent ladder continues to increase. 50, 70, 100, 200, 300, 400. By the 4th year, the number of people who had cracked the first pattern had reached more than 400. After all, except for Li Yang and Hangsu, those who compete for inheritance are the masters. Will the master's understanding be poor? Even if they fall behind, they are not that far behind. After that, there was only one figure left on the first talent ladder. More than 400 inheritors have cracked the first secret pattern, and only one is left. Haha, the human confusion has been cracked, and it is still rank 62nd. Human Li Yang is now the last one. Sure enough, what's the use of relying on clones to make rapid progress? Everything is disguised. How long do you think it will take human Li Yang to crack the first secret pattern? It's difficult, one master after another. The last one took 4 years. With Li Yang's talent, it is difficult for human beings to become a master. It will probably take him at least 10 years. I think it's more than that. Haha, human Li Yang, the greatest genius in the universe Li Yang, now it seems like a joke. One by one, the strong men talked about Li Yang wantonly. The demon clan and the demon snake master saw Li Yang staying on the first talent ladder, and they felt extremely happy at this time. He looked at the blood dove ancestor and said respectfully, "Ancestor, with the potential shown by this human Li Yang, he will definitely not be able to become a master in the future. With the clone, Li Yang has undoubtedly become a serious problem for the demon clan. In the entire universe, the demon race and the human race are the most powerful in their fight. Li Yang became the master of the human race, and the human race suddenly had 7 more masters. This is definitely a serious problem for the demon race. However, even if they knew that Li Yang was such a big threat, but Li Yang had so many clones, they also knew that it would be difficult to kill Li Yang. But now, seeing Li Yang behaving so unbearably, they were undoubtedly very happy. The ancestor of the blood dove also had a smile on his face and said, "Although Li Yang has insufficient potential, if there is a chance in the future, we should kill him immediately." As he was talking, the blood dove ancestor suddenly showed an extremely bright smile on his face. The demonic snake lord and others also immediately became excited. Haha, Coition is so awesome. This time, it is entirely possible for our demon clan to obtain 20 pinnacle sacred weapons. On the talent ladder, Master Coition has taken another step forward. He is the first to ascend the 4th talent ladder. As time passed, the competition continued. After Lord Coition ascended the 4th talent ladder, Lord Yu Hung of the Alliance of Powerful Universes followed closely behind, only 10 days behind. Behind him, in 3rd place is the Ice Blue Lord of the Ice Moon tribe. Although he is in 3rd place, there is a clear gap between him and the previous 2. At this time, the 2 masters of Coition had already ascended the 4th ladder, and he had only ascended the 3rd ladder for 2 months. Then, in the 6th year, Lord Coition ascended the 5th talent ladder. At this time, there are competing inheritors on the 2nd ladder, the 3rd ladder, and the 4th ladder, and the competition gap is further widened. On the talent ladder, at the first step, Li Yang was still sitting cross-legged in silence. More than a year has passed since the Lord of Coition climbed the 5th ladder. Only Li Yang continues to stay on the 1st ladder. At this time, the ones with the lowest grades have all stepped onto the 3rd talent ladder. However, Li Yang's face was very calm, without any fluctuations. At the same time, the joy in Li Yang's eyes flashed. Success. He was happy in his heart. He had already understood the secret patterns on the 20 talent ladders and mastered them completely. He looked at the people in the lead, as well as the Coition Lord and Yu Hang Lord who were already on the 5th talent ladder. At this time, only the 2 of them were on the 5th ladder, and the best performance behind them was the 4th ladder. Since you have mastered it, let's start to crack it. Get the reward on the 20th talent ladder first. Li Yang's consciousness moved directly out of the Kunlun mirror and then entered the secret pattern in front of him. He has only mastered the secret patterns on the first 20 steps of the talent ladder, and has not touched the last 80. However, after getting the rewards on the 20 talent ladders, he will continue to study the next 20, which is undoubtedly safer. Li Yang sat cross-legged, and his consciousness sank into the secret pattern on the ladder in front of him. Before, this secret pattern was very complicated for Li Yang, but at this time, it seemed that there was no mystery to Li Yang. Just like before, there were a lot of foreign words, and Li Yang didn't recognize any of them. But now these foreign words have been changed to Chinese, which naturally reduces the difficulty a lot. Li Yang silently comprehended. During this period of comprehension, 4 months passed in a flash. And 4 months later, Li Yang's eyes showed joy. In his mind, the extremely complex pattern in front of him kept changing and seemed to become more complex. However, at a certain time, when Li Yang moved a broken pattern for the last time, the whole pattern suddenly changed. This suddenly changed pattern suddenly changed from complex to simple, and it looked perfect. Buzz. With the appearance of this perfect pattern, Li Yang felt that the obstacles on the first talent ladder completely disappeared. Now, the first place Demon Clan Coalition Master takes an average of 1.5 years to crack the secret pattern, and other masters take longer. In just 4 months, Li Yang cracked the secret pattern on the first talent ladder. Thanks to Zero Eta for the 100 rewards, thank you. End of this chapter. From the City to the Strongest in the Universe. Author, G. Difeng Ren. Chapter 844. Success. Feeling that the obstacle on the first talent ladder disappeared, Li Yang showed a smile. If it had been cracked by force before, he felt that it would take at least 1 or 2 years to crack a secret pattern. Searched Can on Google. This speed may not necessarily exceed Coalition's master. Everyone who can become a master is a truly top person in the universe. However, after studying the Kunlun mirror specifically and then understanding the secret pattern on the ladder of talent, Li Yang cracked this pattern in just 4 months. It took Coalition Lord 1.5 years, that is, 18 months. In terms of cracking speed, Li Yang was 4 or 5 times faster than Coalition Lord. How big a gap is this? Continue. Without hesitation, Li Yang continued to step onto the second ladder of talent, and sat down cross-legged, his consciousness sinking into the secret patterns in front of him. Look, human Li Yang has climbed to the second talent ladder. 7 years and 3 months, human Li Yang's cracking speed is still, really fast. Haha, I think it's very fast too. After Li Yang ascended the second talent ladder, I don't know how many powerful people looked at him, but his words were still full of sarcasm. Now those with the worst grades are on the third talent ladder, and Li Yang has just climbed onto the second ladder. Before, they hated Li Yang deeply, but now seeing Li Yang's achievements, they feel extremely happy. Judging from the current situation, it will take at least nearly 200 years for the first person to climb the 99 steps. Human Li Yang will probably become a joke for nearly 200 years. Thinking of this, they feel even more happy. Not only those outside the talent ladder, but also every competitor within the talent ladder also glanced at Li Yang, including the leader of the Demon Clan, Coalition. Human Li Yang, Master Coalition glanced back, looking at the young man who had just arrived at the second talent ladder, with a trace of disdain on his lips. With such a talent, is he worthy of being called the #1 genius in the universe? Master Coalition recalled the battle with Li Yang more than 1,000 years ago. At that time, his strength was crushing Li Yang, but Li Yang's defense was extremely strong, and he must have a peak defensive holy weapon. With that pinnacle defensive holy weapon, he could not hurt Li Yang, but instead became a stepping stone on Li Yang's rise. Now, apparently everything has changed. At this time, with the talent shown by Li Yang, it is absolutely impossible for the human race to let him use the peak holy weapon again. If he and Li Yang meet again, they will definitely crush Li Yang. Li Yang didn't pay any attention to the discussions of many powerful people. At this time, Li Yang's face was still calm, and he was working on it with peace of mind. Nearly 4 months have passed in the blink of an eye. At this time, there were two people on the fifth step of the talent ladder, the Demon Clan Master Koishin and the Master Yu Hung of the Universe Powerful Alliance. 81 on the fourth talent ladder. There are more than 300 people on the third talent ladder. On the second talent ladder, Li Yang ranks first. In just a few years, the gap between everyone has become clear. At this time, under the eyes of everyone, Lord Koishin suddenly stood up, and then took a step forward. The sixth talent ladder. Lord Koishin passed another staircase. Third place, the Ice Blue Lord of the Ice Moon tribe is still on the fourth ladder. The Lord of Koishin is a whole ladder ahead of the third place. This speed. Previously, Koishin dominated the entire ladder gap at the end. And now, he is leading the third place by a whole step. How big is the difference? However, half a month later, Master Yu Hung of the Universe Alliance also climbed the sixth ladder. From the perspective of Master Koishin, who was deciphering the secret pattern, he and Master Yu Hung looked at each other, with a hint of fighting intent clearly in their eyes. Every time he ascended a staircase, Master Yu Hung followed closely behind him. At this time, as Lord Yu Hung ascended the sixth ladder, the fifth talent ladder turned out to be empty. Everyone knows that the first and second place are Master Koishin and Master Yu Hung. Except for them, the others are not at the same level at all. Damn it! At this time, the third Ice Blue Lord of the Ice Moon tribe looked at the two lords of Koishin and clenched his fists. Everyone's eyes were basically on the first and second place. As for the third place, not many people noticed at all. It's still very early, I don't believe I can't catch up, the Ice Blue Lord clenched his fists. Behind the Ice Blue Master, the inheritors are working even harder, and the gap between them is not big. The top 5 can all know the sacred weapon. They cannot be the first or second place, but they must ensure that they are among the top 5. Everyone's eyes were focused on Lord Koishin and Lord Yu Hung. At this time, not many people paid attention to Li Yang. After Master Yu Hung ascended the sixth talent ladder, Li Yang showed a hint of joy in his eyes. The extremely complex secret pattern in front of him was constantly changing with his consciousness. At a certain time, when Li Yang finally moved a broken pattern, the entire pattern suddenly changed and formed a perfect pattern. With the emergence of this perfect pattern, the obstacle to Li Yang on the second talent ladder completely disappeared. 4 months and 3 days later, the second secret pattern was successfully cracked. Li Yang's face was calm, but his heart was extremely happy. Continue. He did not hesitate and stepped onto another step. Li Yang climbed the third talent step. There are more than 300 inheritors on this step. At this time, many strong men were still discussing outside the talent step. The speed of the Koishin Master's cracking is too fast. The demon race is likely to be the biggest winner this time. One step ahead, one step ahead. Although the Yu Hang Master of the Universe Power Alliance is closely following the demon race Koishin Master, the gap between them is also constantly widening. 40 peak holy artifacts. If nothing unexpected happens, the demon race is likely to get 20 this time. 20 peak holy artifacts. The demon race is already at the top level in the universe. 2 founding ancestors, 2 supreme holy artifacts, and this time there is such a big harvest. The entire demon race is obviously excited. As for other peak tribes or forces, they all look ugly. The human race is the same. The face of the Hunyuan ancestor is slightly gloomy, and the faces of several other masters are also ugly. The demon race may get 20 top holy artifacts, while the human race may get nothing this time. Zinc is now in 7th place, and there is still a lot of time. Zinc can definitely catch up. Yes, no one knows the result until later. The best result of the human race at this time is Zinc Overlord, but he is not among the top 5. If you don't enter the top 5, even if you rank 6th, you won't get a top holy artifact. From the city to the strongest in the universe. Author, G. Difeng Ren. Chapter 845. Although he was in the eternal temple of the human race, the eternal ancestor had been paying attention to the talent ladder. Hunyuan, Li Yang said before that he had studied the secret patterns on the 20 talent ladders and had a good idea of how to crack them. We just have to wait and see, the eternal ancestor said. I know. Hunyuan ancestor nodded, and his eyes were basically paying attention to Li Yang. However, it was easy to say. At this time, it was so difficult for the masters to crack those secret patterns. Li Yang was already 4 talent ladders behind. Could he catch up? Hunyuan ancestor was obviously a little anxious. Getting a peak holy weapon was completely equivalent to having one more master in the clan. And the demon clan might get 20 peak holy weapons this time. While talking to the eternal ancestor, Hunyuan ancestor was suddenly startled. Under his gaze, Li Yang on the 2nd talent ladder stood up directly and then walked onto the 3rd talent ladder. Not only the human race, but also some strong people were paying attention to Li Yang at this time. Even if they didn't pay attention, they noticed it immediately when Li Yang stood up. Look at human Li Yang. Human Li Yang has stepped onto the 3rd talent ladder. He stepped onto the 2nd talent ladder more than 4 months ago, right? What's going on? Seeing the scene on Li Yang's side, almost all the strong men showed a hint of surprise in their eyes. Although only the competitors on the talent ladder can crack the secret pattern, they also know the speed of cracking these secret patterns through everyone's situation. For example, the first place demon clan Coalition Lord, it takes an average of 1.5 years to crack a secret pattern, and the slowest one except Li Yang takes 3 years. And Li Yang even took more than 7 years to crack the first secret pattern, and now it only took more than 4 months to crack the second secret pattern? This speed is far behind even Coalition Lord. Ancestor, human Li Yang, in the demon clan camp, the demon snake lord's face changed again and again. The smile on the face of the blood dove ancestor was also restrained at this time. He looked at Li Yang and frowned slightly. This human Li Yang was already studying the secret pattern on the 2nd talent ladder when he was on the 1st talent ladder. He spent more than 7 years on the 1st ladder, but only spent more than 4 months on the 2nd ladder. This is obviously impossible. There is only one explanation for this situation, that is, human Li Yang has been studying the secret pattern on the 2nd talent ladder. It seems that human Li Yang's talent is better than we thought, the blood dove ancestor said in a deep voice. More than 7 years, cracking 2 secret patterns, this understanding is close to the master. There are more than 300 masters on the 3rd talent ladder now. The blood dove ancestor's heart sank slightly. He wished that human Li Yang had poor talent and understanding. If so, he could not break through to the master in the future. In fact, he didn't care no matter how many clones Li Yang had. More than 7 years, it took to crack a secret pattern. This talent and understanding showed that the possibility of human Li Yang breaking through to become a master was very small. But now, the probability of this breakthrough has increased all of a sudden. Li Yang suddenly climbed the 3rd talent ladder, which obviously caused quite a stir. At this time, the eternal ancestor and the Hunyuan ancestor of the human race were delighted. Good. Even with the Hunyuan ancestor's temperament, he couldn't help but be surprised. The eternal ancestor also had a smile on his face and said, Li Yang said that he had studied every talent ladder. Now the 2nd talent ladder has taken more than 4 months, and the time spent on other ladders should not be too much. Li Yang said before that he actually had no idea in his heart, but Li Yang's performance at this time undoubtedly made him full of confidence all of a sudden. We just watch, and don't contact Li Yang's clone next, and put any pressure on him, the Hunyuan ancestor hurriedly said. Only the eternal ancestor and the Hunyuan ancestor knew about Li Yang's situation. For other strong men, Li Yang passed the 2nd talent ladder so quickly. Obviously he had been studying the 2nd talent ladder before. So, after a short movement, fewer people paid attention to Li Yang. Time flies, and 4 months have passed in the blink of an eye. At this time, the Ice Blue Overlord of the Ice Moon clan stepped onto the 5th talent ladder, which caused a sensation again. The first and second place were leading by a huge margin, and the gap between the 3rd and 10th place was not too big, and the competition was actually more intense. After the Ice Blue Overlord stepped onto the 5th talent ladder, not many people paid attention to him. Li Yang, who was on the 3rd talent ladder, stood up again and then stepped onto the 4th talent ladder. This action instantly attracted the attention of almost all the strong men. Li Yang stepped onto the 4th talent ladder. How is this possible? It only took him more than 4 months to crack the 3rd secret pattern. At this time, there were 2 Coition Overlords and Yuhang Overlords on the 6th talent ladder, and 1 Ice Blue Overlord on the 5th talent ladder. Except for the 3 of them, the best results at this time were only on the 4th talent ladder. And among the more than 400 Overlord inheritors, no more than 100 were on the 4th talent ladder. Li Yang, who was ranked last before, has entered the top 100 in less than a year? Boom! In the Demon Clan camp, the Blood Dove ancestor looked very unhappy at this time, and the terrifying evil spirit on his body could not help but emanate. Ancestor. Next to the Blood Dove ancestor, the Demon Snake Overlord also looked unhappy. He looked at the Blood Dove ancestor and said carefully, "Human Li Yang must have studied the secret patterns on the 3 talent ladders together before the 1st talent ladder, so he cracked it so quickly." "I know," the Blood Dove ancestor said in a deep voice, "but even so, the talent and understanding he showed have surpassed most of the overlords." At this time, the performance of more than 300 overlords was not as good as Li Yang. With this performance, will the Overlord realm be an obstacle to Li Yang? Even he, the Blood Dove ancestor, would not believe it. Damn it! Is the human race really going to have several more overlords? The Blood Dove ancestor stared at Li Yang, with crazy murderous intent in his eyes. If Li Yang is not eliminated, once he truly breaks through and becomes the Overlord in the future, it will definitely be an endless trouble for the Demon Clan. The outside world caused a huge commotion, and Li Yang, as the person involved, was sitting cross-legged in front of the 4th talent ladder. Haha, it's really simple. Li Yang was happy. If he didn't study the Kunlun mirror in advance, even if he climbed the 2nd and 3rd talent ladders faster, he would only be at the 6th talent ladder at this time, which was the same as the Coition Lord. And this ladder, Li Yang knew that he could catch up quickly. The Demon Clan Coition Lord, the Universe Strong Alliance Lord Yuhang, the Binjaya Clan Binglan Lord. After taking a look at the 3 figures in front of him, Li Yang retracted his gaze. His consciousness sank into the secret pattern in front of him, and the broken patterns began to change according to Li Yang's consciousness. The 5th talent ladder, 3 months after the Binglan Lord climbed, the Metal Clan's Leeming Lord successfully climbed. The Metal Clan's Leeming Lord has always maintained the 4th place, and this performance is not surprising. 1 month after Li Mingzhu ascended the 4th talent ladder, no one else ascended. At this time, on the 4th ladder, the secret pattern in front of Li Yang once again turned into a perfect pattern. Success. Li Yang smiled, stood up and stepped onto the 5th talent ladder. 2 people on the 6th talent ladder, and 2 people on the 5th talent ladder. At this time, Li Yang officially entered the top 5. Thanks to 08 for the 100 reward, thank you. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. From the City to the Strongest in the Universe. Author, G. Difeng Ren. Chapter 846. Chapter 847. Before I can do anything, you just. Nearly 9 years have passed, and most of the inheritances are still on the 3rd talent ladder. There are a total of 4 figures on the 5th and 6th stairs, attracting the attention of billions of people in the universe. The top 5 can get the pinnacle sacred weapon, and these 4 can definitely get it. And as Li Yang took this step, it immediately caused a huge shock. Searched Can on Google. How is that possible? In the demon camp, the demon snake master exclaimed, has human Li Yang stepped onto the 5th talent ladder? His face was full of shock. Human Li Yang only spent more than 4 months on the 2nd talent ladder, the 3rd talent ladder, and the 4th talent ladder. Could it be that on the 1st ladder of talent, human Li Yang understood the secret patterns on the 4 ladders at the same time? More than 400 masters, it can be said that at this time, a group of powerful people with the most top talents in the entire universe are realizing it. Human Li Yang, even if he has strong understanding, can't be that powerful. At this time, the blood dove ancestor did not speak, he stared at Li Yang. At this time, stepping onto the 5th ladder, Li Yang ranked 5th. This obviously shows that Li Yang's talent and understanding are really at the top of the universe. With such talent and understanding, it is not a problem for human Li Yang to break through and become the master. But now, he should have reached his limit. The ancestor of the blood dove secretly thought in his heart. The lord of coalition of their demon clan has always been in the 1st place. From the perspective of the blood dove ancestor, the 20 pinnacle sacred weapons have obviously been collected in advance. However, Li Yang's performance at this time made the ancestor of the blood dove suddenly panic. Lord Coalition took an average of 1 or 2 years to crack a secret pattern on the talent ladder, while human Li Yang cracked a secret pattern in an average of 4 to 5 months. This speed is several times faster. If he keeps it up, it will definitely be easy for Li Yang to surpass Coalition's master. Therefore, the blood dove ancestor at this time also hoped that Li Yang had only studied the secret patterns on the 4 steps before. Li Yang will become the master in the future and will be almost unstoppable. At this time, he only hopes that the master of coalition will always remain in the 1st place and not be surpassed by Li Yang. Compared to the changes in the faces of the demon clan, the human clan immediately became happy. Haha, good. Hunyuan ancestor's face was full of smiles. Eternal, this Li Yang's understanding is too strong. If he keeps this speed, he will be able to surpass the master of the demon clan coalition in less than a year at most. At this time, Li Yang was already in 5th place, and the human race had locked a pinnacle holy weapon. The eternal ancestor said with a smile on his face, Li Yang has never let me down. On the 5th step, Li Yang sat down directly cross-legged. Human Li Yang. Not far away from Li Yang, on the same stairs, the Ice Blue Master of the Binjia clan and the Li Ming Master of the Metal clan, their expressions changed again and again when they saw Li Yang appear. When they climbed onto the 4th ladder of talent, human Li Yang was still on the 1st ladder. Now that they are on the 5th ladder, human Li Yang is also on the 5th ladder. Not only the Ice Blue Lord and Li Ming Lord, but also the Demon Clan Lord Coalition and Yu Hung Lord of the Universe Powerful Alliance who were on the previous stairs had their expressions change. Human Li Yang has come to the 5th staircase. The expressions of Lord Coalition and Lord Yu Hung suddenly changed. For example, Ice Blue Master and Li Ming Master were ranked 3rd and 4th before. Even if Li Yang catches up, they will fall to 5th place at most and still get a pinnacle sacred weapon, so their psychology will not change much. However, of the 10 pinnacle sacred weapons on the 20th talent ladder, the 1st place can get 5, and the 2nd place can get 2. Relatively speaking, the 1st and 2nd place are most afraid of being surpassed by others. Human Li Yang must have studied the secret patterns on several talent ladders in advance before he was on the 1st talent ladder, so he stayed on the 1st ladder for so long and then quickly surpassed each opponent. The Demon Clan leader Coalition glanced at Li Yang with disgust. Is this to attract more attention? Keeping a low profile at first, letting others think that you are not talented, and then suddenly bursting out, can indeed attract more attention and create a greater sensation. Although he was slightly anxious, Lord Coalition was not affected at all. because he was almost able to decipher the secret pattern on the sixth talent ladder. Master Koishin continued to crack the code, and after more than 4 months, a smile suddenly appeared on his face. He stood up and took another step. The seventh talent ladder. Lord Koishin has ascended the seventh talent ladder. He's still way ahead. Looking at the situation of Lord Koishin, the expressions of many peak ethnic groups and powerful forces changed again and again. For more than 4 months, Koishin's master continued to lead by a cliff. At this time, he was the only one on the 7th talent ladder, and Yu Heng was the master on the 6th talent ladder. On the 5th talent ladder, in the past 4 months, 3 more people have climbed up, and now there are 6 people in total. More than 4 months have passed. Do you think human Li Yang can move forward? He only spent more than 4 months on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th talent ladders. It shouldn't be possible, right? He has so many clones, so it's completely understandable that he progressed so fast before. His comprehension is already at the top of the universe. Can he still be at the top? If Li Yang didn't have clones and his strength improved so fast, then they wouldn't be surprised that he was at the top of the talent ladder at this time. But at this time, it was obviously a bit uncertain. And while they were discussing, Li Yang on the 5th ladder suddenly stood up and came to the 6th talent ladder. In the void, there was a huge list floating, with names on it, from high to low, recording the results of each inheritor in detail. Climbing the 6th talent ladder, Li Yang's results instantly went from 5th to 3rd. What? Behind Li Yang, the Ice Moon clan Binglan Overlord and the Metal clan Liming Overlord, who had been ahead of Li Yang before, changed their faces slightly. They were surpassed by Li Yang. At this time, the 6th master Yu Heng looked at Li Yang, who was tied with him, and his face changed even more. How is it possible? It only took the human Li Yang more than 4 months to crack the 5th step secret pattern. Lord Yu Heng was obviously a little anxious. He had always been the 2nd place before, but even so, he was far ahead of the 3rd place Binglan Lord. He could easily get 2 peak holy artifacts. Lord Yu Heng had only one goal, which was to catch up with Lord Koishin and then surpass him. 2 peak holy artifacts were in his pocket, and he would do his best to fight for 5 peak holy artifacts. But before he could surpass him, the human Li Yang behind him actually caught up. If he was surpassed by Li Yang and fell to 3rd place, he would only get 1 peak holy artifact in the end. From the city to the strongest in the universe. Author, G. Difeng Ren. Chapter 847. The face of Lord Yu Heng changed, and so did Lord Koishin in front of him. I just stepped onto the 7th talent ladder, and the human Li Yang stepped onto the 6th talent ladder. How many secret patterns on the talent ladders did he see in advance? Lord Koishin obviously couldn't keep calm at this time. He didn't take Lord Yu Heng seriously. Although Lord Yu Heng followed him closely, the gap between him and Lord Yu Heng was constantly widening. But Li Yang was completely different. Except for the first talent, Li Yang only took 4 or 5 months to pass each of the following ladders. Will Li Yang be the same for the next ladder? With 2 more ladders, human Li Yang can surpass him. Humph. In the previous 7 years, I don't believe that human Li Yang has thoroughly studied all 20 talent ladders, Lord Koishin snorted in his heart, and then continued to comprehend. Lord Yu Heng was only slightly behind Lord Koishin. 1 month after Lord Koishin stepped onto the 7th talent ladder, Lord Yu Heng stepped onto this ladder. Lord Yu Heng breathed a sigh of relief when he reached this ladder. He didn't know what he felt when he was on the same ladder with Li Yang. He felt very uncomfortable and under great pressure, fearing that Li Yang would surpass him in the next step. Lord Yu Heng's progress this time did not cause much discussion. It was Li Yang who made everyone talk more. More than a month has passed. Can human Li Yang pass the 6th ladder in more than 4 months this time? Not sure. If he can pass, then the gap between him and Lord Koishin and Lord Yu Heng is not big. Many powerful people were watching. More than 3 months passed in a flash. Then, in everyone's eyes, Li Yang stood up and took a step forward as before. The 7th talent ladder. It really worked. It still took human Li Yang less than 5 months to pass this talent ladder. If he only took 4 or 5 months on this 7th talent ladder, he would be the first. On the 7th talent ladder, Li Yang was already tied with Kuishan Lord and Yuhang Lord. Damn it! At this time, Yuhang Lord and Kuishan Lord both looked at Li Yang with ugly faces. Human Li Yang, how many talent ladders have you comprehended in advance? Kuishan Lord looked at Li Yang and asked directly in a deep voice. Before he stepped on the 6th ladder, Li Yang was still on the 1st ladder. Now he and Li Yang are both on the 7th talent ladder. He is only 5 months ahead of Li Yang. If this continues, he will lose his first place. The first place, but 5 peak holy artifacts. And the second place, only 2, how could he be willing to be the second place? Kuishan Lord, what do you think? Hearing the inquiry from Kuishan Lord, Li Yang smiled calmly. He ignored him and sat down cross-legged. Seeing Li Yang like this, Kuishan Lord looked even uglier. He also quickly gathered his mind and began to comprehend. As for Yuhang Lord, he glanced at Li Yang and also looked at the secret pattern in front of him. Outside the talent ladder, an area was obviously full of a depressing atmosphere at this time, which was the demon clan camp. Kuishan Lord was the first place, and the demon clan had the best results. Logically, the demon clan should be the most excited, but at this time in the demon clan camp, the ancestor of the blood dove and the masters, none of them had a smile on their faces. They all stared at the 7th talent ladder. On the contrary, the atmosphere of the entire human race was very good. Haha, Li Yang performed so well. Looking at this situation, Li Yang will definitely be able to easily pass the 7th talent ladder in 4 or 5 months. Now the demon race's Kuishan Lord has just climbed the 7th talent ladder for 7 months. He needs at least 7 or 8 months to succeed. Haha, when Li Yang climbs the 8th talent ladder in advance, the first place will belong to our human race, and those peak holy artifacts will also belong to our human race. The best result of the human race before was the Galaxy Lord, who was in 7th place. According to the results, he could not get a peak holy artifact. And Li Yang is now ranked 3rd and has locked a peak holy artifact. And looking at Li Yang's forward trend, it is entirely possible to come to the 1st place. In this case, the human race will get at least 5 peak holy artifacts. Even up to 20 peak holy artifacts. There is a gap before there is a surprise. The entire demon race is completely opposite to the human race. Before, the Kuishan Lord was far ahead, and other strong people had no possibility of surpassing. In the eyes of the demon race, 20 peak holy artifacts can be collected in advance. Now, if the human Li Yang takes the 1st place, then the Kuishan Lord will only get 2 peak holy artifacts, or 8 at most, if he comes to the 2nd place. From 20 to 8, no one can feel good. It's impossible to succeed. The demon lords, even the blood dove ancestor, are staring at Li Yang. The next 7th talent ladder is obviously the key. If the human Li Yang can pass it in 4 or 5 months, then the 1st place will definitely be Li Yang. However, if Li Yang can't pass it, it means that Li Yang only studied the secret patterns on the first 6 talent ladders before the 1st talent ladder. His talent is still not as good as that of the Kuishan Lord and the Yuhang Lord, and he can only be ranked 3rd. In this tense atmosphere, 5 months passed in the blink of an eye. At this time, Li Yang still did not make any move. No one in the demon clan showed joy on their faces, and they continued to wait. Another month passed, and 6 months passed, but Li Yang still did not move. Ancestor, 6 months have passed. It seems that human Li Yang has reached his limit. He has studied the secret patterns on the first 6 talent ladders at most before. the demon snake master said with joy on his face. Before, Li Yang spent at most 4.5 months on each ladder. Now 6 months have passed, and Li Yang has not made any move. This obviously shows that Li Yang has reached his limit. The blood dove ancestor also showed a rare smile on his face at this time. No matter what, human Li Yang can't surpass Coition Master. While they were talking, Li Yang looked at the pattern in front of him. The difficulty of the 7th secret pattern is much more difficult than the previous 6, Li Yang said secretly in his heart. He had studied 20 talent ladders before, so he naturally knew the situation. The 7th talent ladder is a threshold, and the difficulty has increased a lot. The 14th talent ladder is a threshold. So he stayed on this ladder for more than a month. But that's all. Li Yang smiled. The extremely complex secret pattern in front of him took shape and turned into a perfect pattern. Looking at the demon clan Coition Lord who was still cracking on the same ladder as him, Li Yang smiled. Coition Lord, I'm ahead. He stood up and stepped onto the 8th talent ladder. Thanks to 08 for the 100 reward, thank you. From the city to the strongest in the universe. Author, G. Difeng Ren. Chapter 848. Outside the talent ladder, strong men were discussing. 6 months have passed, and human Li Yang still hasn't moved. It seems that he has reached his limit. It's still the demon clan's Lord Coition who is in the lead. There was not much joy or much other emotion in the words of these strong men. Whether the demon clan gets the pinnacle holy weapon or the human clan gets it, they are actually not what they want to see. Then they saw Li Yang stand up. Look over there, Li Yang. Seeing Li Yang's actions, almost all the strong men looked over. Has he cracked the secret pattern on the 7th talent ladder? Many powerful men seemed to lower their voices unconsciously and looked at Li Yang. Under their gaze, Li Yang took a step forward again. The 8th talent ladder. Human Li Yang has successfully ascended it. The master of the demon clan Coition is still cracking it. Human Li Yang has surpassed the demon clan Coition master and now ranks first. Oh my god, this, human Li Yang's talent and understanding surpass all the masters. Even though they were prepared in their hearts, seeing Li Yang's success at this moment, many strong men still showed extremely shocked looks in their eyes. Previously, Coition dominated the lead, but Li Yang was last and was ridiculed. And now, how many years have passed since Li Yang ranked last? At this time, Li Yang actually surpassed the Lord of Coition and came to the first place. Boom! In the void, the terrifying aura of the ancestor of the demon race blood dove emitted. This fluctuation of aura caused the faces of some strong men around him to change suddenly and keep moving away. Why is the blood dove ancestor of the demon clan so crazy? The leader of their tribe, Coition, has gone from number 1 to number 2. The original 5 peak sacred weapons have suddenly become 2, we'd better stay away. Looking at the ancestor of the blood dove, whose face was so gloomy that water could drip from his eyes, one by one the powerful men kept moving away, not daring to offend him. Damn human Li Yang! The blood dove ancestor stared at Li Yang, their first place in the demon clan was gone. The 20 pinnacle sacred weapons in the bag are gone. At this time, the blood dove ancestor felt that his rage could not be suppressed at all, and he wanted to release it. This fluctuation in momentum has even spread to the human race. Feeling this fluctuation, Hunyuan ancestor, who was in a happy mood at this time, had no scruples and said softly, Monster Clan Sweju, what do you mean? Do you want to take action? Snort. Looking at Hunyuan ancestor, blood dove ancestor said coldly, what a human race, what a human Li Yang. He hid so deeply on the first talent ladder before, it is really a good strategy. If Li Yang had maintained first place from the beginning, the blood dove ancestor would not have felt much. However, Lord Coition had always maintained the first place in the past. In the eyes of the demon clan, the 20 pinnacle sacred weapons belonged to their demon clan, but they were suddenly gone. It must be hard to feel this way. This is like an ordinary person. If he has not bought a lottery ticket, his mentality must be very calm. But he bought a lottery ticket and won 5 million, but he lost the lottery ticket. The psychological gap must be very big. He may not be able to sleep well for the next year and be in trouble. The blood dove ancestor of the demon clan is in this state at this time. A pinnacle holy weapon is equivalent to having an extra master in the clan. Now that it is gone all of a sudden, you can imagine how the blood dove ancestor feels. Haha, blood dove ancestor, it's your monster clan's Lord Koishin, who was slow to realize Hyunyuan ancestor laughed. His face was full of smiles. He knew Li Yang's situation, not just the steps ahead, but Li Yang had understood the secret patterns on the 20 talent steps in advance. Now that Li Yang occupies the first place, Li Yang can definitely maintain the lead and continue to expand his advantage. Looking at the proud Hyunyuan ancestor, the blood dove ancestor was even more furious. But when it came to actually taking action, it was impossible for him to defeat the Hyunyuan ancestor. So he finally took back the fluctuations in himself. Hyunyuan ancestor, it's still early, and it's not certain who will win or lose, the blood dove ancestor said coldly. Hyunyuan ancestor smiled and said, then we'll just watch. The blood dove ancestor of the demon clan said nothing more. He stared at Li Yang, not knowing what he was thinking. On the 7th talent ladder, Lord Koishin is deciphering the pattern. The difficulty of this pattern is much more difficult than the previous 6, Lord Koishin said secretly in his heart. It took him about a year and a half to crack a pattern before, but now it will take him at least more than 2 years to crack this pattern. However, the difficulty of the secret pattern has increased. Not only does it seem difficult to me, but others will also find it difficult. Lord Koishin was calmly deciphering it, and then he saw Li Yang suddenly moving not far away. This move made Lord Koishin's expression suddenly change. Li Yang successfully cracked it? Under his gaze, Li Yang directly climbed onto the 8th talent ladder. Boom! He was originally anxious, but now that Li Yang had truly ascended the 8th talent ladder, Lord Koishin was stunned for a moment. I was passed. Lord Koishin didn't know what he felt in his heart, even though his mind was roaring. It was like a lottery ticket that was originally worth 5 million, but suddenly someone told him that he had misread a number, and the lottery prize was directly reduced from 5 million to 100,000. Koishin Lord was completely stunned, just looking at the figure of Li Yang in front of him, forgetting to continue to crack the secret pattern in front of him. Not far from Koishin Lord, Yuhang Lord also changed his face and looked at Li Yang. This human Li Yang hasn't stopped yet, and the cracking speed is still so fast. Yuhang Lord looked ugly. He went directly from the 2nd place to the 3rd place, and the reward of the peak holy weapon also went directly from 2 pieces to 1. With an ugly face, Yuhang Lord glanced at Koishin Lord not far away, and saw that Koishin Lord was obviously hit hard. He suddenly had an idea. Koishin Lord has always been the first, and now the 1st place has been surpassed. His mentality must have been greatly affected, and the speed of cracking the secret pattern may be completely reduced. Maybe I can surpass him. The master level strongmen have practiced for a long time, let alone a stable mentality. Nothing can affect them. That's because there are too few things that can cause their emotions to fluctuate. But as long as they appear, they will definitely go crazy. If the supreme sacred artifact appears, the top creators of the universe will not be able to remain calm and will fight for it like crazy. Lord Yuhang had always been 2nd, and he expected to have only 2 top sacred artifacts. He was surpassed by Li Yang, and the 2 top sacred artifacts became 1. Although this gap is also large, it is far less than Lord Koishin's 5 artifacts turned into 2. Moreover, the gap between Lord Yuhang and Lord Koishin is not that big. Even though he has reached the 7th talent ladder, more than 10 years have passed, but he is only more than a month behind Lord Koishin. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. From the City to the Strongest in the Universe. Author, Difeng Ren. Chapter 849. Only 1 month behind. If the state of Kuishan Lord is affected, Yuhang Lord may be able to catch up in more than a month. If he surpasses Kuishan Lord, then human Li Yang will be the first, and he Yuhang Lord will still be the second, and he can still get 2 top holy artifacts. Let's do it. Take advantage of the time when Kuishan Lord's state is affected to comprehend. At this time, Yuhang Lord's mentality adjusted all of a sudden. It is entirely possible that he will continue to be the second. As long as he succeeds, when Kuishan Lord becomes the third, it is estimated that his mentality will continue to be affected, and the efficiency of comprehension will continue to decrease. For the third place, only 1 top holy artifact can be obtained. From 5 to 2, and then to 1, anyone can imagine how Kuishan Lord feels. Li Yang's becoming the first place obviously caused a huge shock, but at this time Li Yang was very calm. Haha, study the secret pattern in the Kunlun mirror first, the efficiency will be much faster. Li Yang was in a good mood. If he didn't study it at the beginning, he probably wouldn't be able to reach the 8th talent ladder at this time. The next goal is the 20 talent ladders. Li Yang looked at the 10 light spots on the 20th talent ladder. Each light spot represents a peak holy weapon. Without thinking too much, Li Yang continued to comprehend with all his strength. In the blink of an eye, another 6 or 7 months passed. Lord Kuishan and Lord Yuhang were still on the 7th talent ladder, while Li Yang continued to step onto the 9th talent ladder. Oh my god, this human Li Yang is too abnormal. He passed the 8th talent ladder in more than 6 months. How can he crack those secret patterns so quickly? Those who cracked with him are all the universe masters with the strongest talents in the universe. All the masters were suppressed by Li Yang, the emperor. And 6 or 7 months later, Li Yang caused a stir again because he stepped onto the 10th talent ladder. At this time, Lord Kuishan and Lord Yuhang, who rank 2nd and 3rd, were still on the 7th talent ladder. The gap between the 2 ladders. Crazy. This human Li Yang is really crazy. Previously, Kuishan Lord and Yuhang Lord were far ahead of other strong men, and now human Li Yang is 2 places ahead of Kuishan Lord. Where is his limit? Everyone was numb to Li Yang's cracking speed. And in this discussion, a figure finally moved on the 7th talent ladder. Under everyone's gaze, Yuhang Lord stood up directly, then took a step forward and climbed the 8th talent ladder. Boom. This situation caused another commotion. What's going on? Yuhang Lord of the Universe Power Alliance is 2nd. The previous 1st place, Kuishan Lord of the Demon Clan, fell to 3rd. Everyone looked at Kuishan Lord, who was still sitting cross-legged on the 7th ladder, and his face suddenly changed. I'm 3rd. At this time, Kuishan Lord's face did change drastically, and he was completely panicked. Over a year, he had adjusted his mentality to being overtaken by Li Yang, and could remain calm for the time being, but now he was panicking again. Being overtaken by Li Yang was a complete accident. In the mind of Lord Kuishan, he would not be able to get the 1st place, but the 2nd place and 2 top holy artifacts would definitely be his, and there would be no surprises about this. But Lord Yuhang, who had been suppressed by him and the gap was getting bigger and bigger, caught up with him. He had always been the 1st place, but in a blink of an eye he fell to the 3rd place, and now he could only get 1 top holy artifact at most. Kuishan, this idiot, has such a bad mentality. In the Demon Clan camp, the ancestor of the Blood Dove looked at Lord Kuishan who fell behind again, and his anger could not help rising again. Needless to say, it was also known that Lord Kuishan was greatly influenced by the human Li Yang, which greatly reduced his comprehension speed. Many strong men were discussing, but Lord Yuheng was in a very good mood at this time. Haha, surpassed. Just as he thought, Koishan Lord was greatly affected by Li Yang, and his efficiency became much lower. Looking at the figure in front of him, Koishan Lord obviously felt a little powerless. Li Yang's speed in cracking the secret pattern made him feel that there was no hope of surpassing him. It doesn't matter if I can't surpass the human Li Yang. As long as I keep the second place, I can still get 2 top holy artifacts, Yuheng Lord said in his heart. He was calm and continued to comprehend. Huh? Yuheng Lord surpassed Koishan Lord. Li Yang, who was cracking the secret pattern at this time, also noticed the changes in the talent ladder. He didn't think much, but looked at the secret pattern in front of him. More than 6 months have passed, and the secret pattern in front of him has reached the final stage of cracking. A day later, Li Yang succeeded again and climbed the 11th talent ladder. Next, Li Yang's cracking speed did not stop at all. In the 12th year, he climbed the 12th talent ladder. In the 13th year, Li Yang climbed the 14th talent ladder. The difficulty of the 14th talent ladder increased again, and Li Yang's cracking speed obviously decreased a lot, but he could still crack one in 8 or 9 months. In this way, time came to the 20th year in a blink of an eye. On the 20th talent ladder, Li Yang sat cross-legged silently. Human Li Yang has been on the 20th talent ladder for almost a year. He should be able to crack it soon, right? Should be able to. If he succeeds, human Li Yang can choose 5 peak holy artifacts. The strong men discussed one by one, and there was no shock in their words at this time. Because, at this time, they were numb to Li Yang's achievements. That's right, numb. At this time, the second place Lord Yuheng and the third place Lord Koishan were still on the 11th talent ladder. And Li Yang has reached the 20th ladder, leading by half the ladder levels. How to compare? At the beginning, Li Yang was ahead of the second place, 2 ladders, 3 ladders, everyone was more and more shocked. But when he was ahead of the next 7 ladders, 8 ladders, everyone had no feeling. This is not on the same level at all. At this time, Li Yang, sitting cross-legged on the 20th talent ladder, silently looked at the secret pattern in front of him. At a certain moment, this secret pattern changed dramatically, from complex to extremely perfect. The 20th secret pattern was cracked successfully. Seeing the secret pattern change so much, Li Yang smiled. 5 top holy artifacts were obtained. At the moment when Li Yang successfully cracked it, Taoist Tianxu, who had been sitting cross-legged on the 100th step and had closed his eyes for 20 years, suddenly opened his eyes. Thanks to Shunkaranza 2023 for the 1500 reward, and 08 for the 100 reward, thank you. End of this chapter. From the City to the Strongest in the Universe. Author, G. Difeng Ren. Chapter 850. When Li Yang deciphered the secret pattern in front of him, Taoist Tianxu opened his eyes on the 100th talent ladder. His change instantly attracted everyone's attention, and many powerful people looked at him quickly. Look at Taoist Tianxu's place. It must be human Li Yang who cracked the secret pattern on the 20th talent ladder. In 20 years, Tianxu Taoist statue has become like a statue. Searched Can on Google. After opening his eyes, Taoist Tianxu said, "Congratulations to someone who has reached the first step requirement." Sure enough, human Li Yang succeeded. After hearing Taoist Tianxu's words, many strong men's expressions changed slightly even though they were prepared in their hearts. Humanity has completed the first test in the inheritance with a completely crushed attitude. You are very good. Taoist Tianxu looked at Li Yang and said, "You can choose 5 of the 10 pinnacle sacred weapons." Li Yang saw the 10 light spots before he climbed the 20th talent ladder, but these light spots obviously hindered him and he could not reach them at all. At this moment, Li Yang felt that the resistance of the 10 light points to him had completely disappeared. His consciousness quickly swept over the pinnacle sacred weapons. Li Yang waved his right hand, and 5 points of light suddenly came to his hand. Taoist Tianxu, I choose these 5 items, Li Yang said with some respect. Yes, Taoist Tianxu nodded. Keep working hard, he said nothing more and began to close his eyes and meditate again, turning into a statue. The 5 pinnacle sacred weapons were obtained by human Li Yang. Damn it! Looking at the way human Li Yang is crushing him, he will definitely get 15 more next. Not only are there 20 pinnacle sacred weapons, human Li Yang can even get this talent ladder inheritance. This time, humans are definitely the biggest winners. Seeing the 5 spots of light disappearing on the 20th talent ladder, many peak groups and forces felt their hearts sink. Everyone is eager for the pinnacle sacred weapon, but in fact, more top powerhouses care about inheritance. Now, no one knows what the so-called inheritance left by the Caitian sect is. And looking at the current trend, there is a 90% chance that the inheritance will belong to the human race. Li Yang was naturally unaware of the discussions among many powerful people outside. At this time, Li Yang, who had already stepped onto the 21st talent ladder, was thinking about the next way to decipher the secret pattern. Continue to follow the previous method and first find the secret patterns on the 21st talent ladder to the 40th talent ladder in the Kunlun mirror. Previously, Li Yang focused on finding the secret patterns corresponding to the first 20 steps of the talent ladder in the Kunlun mirror, the supreme holy artifact. As for the next 80 steps, it was not involved. Now, he's searching again. Next, Li Yang will definitely stay on the 21st step for a long time, just like the first step before. However, Li Yang is not in a hurry. At this time, he is 10 steps ahead of Yu Heng, who is in second place. Who can catch up with him? Without thinking any more, Li Yang's consciousness quickly sank into the Kunlun mirror. From then on, Li Yang sat cross-legged on the 21st step. 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Li Yang has not made any moves in these years. The difficulty of the 21st talent ladder has obviously increased by several levels compared to the first talent ladder at the beginning. Li Yang stayed on the first talent ladder for 7 years, let alone this ladder. And in the past 20 years, the successors behind have obviously made continuous progress. At this time, Lord Yu Heng and Lord Kuishan have reached the 17th talent ladder. Yu Heng's leader is still ahead of Kuishan's leader, ranking second. In addition, all the inheritors have also exceeded the 10 talent ladders at this time. Human Li Yang has stayed on the 21st stairway for 20 years. Is he stuck? Probably not. The human Li Yang was like this before on the first ladder of talent. He stayed for a long time. He should be studying the 21st ladder, all the way to the 40th ladder. The second place Master Yu Heng is almost catching up. There is only 3 steps behind human Li Yang. Maybe Master Yu Heng has come to the 21st ladder of talent, and human Li Yang will still stay on this ladder. At this time, Master Yu Heng looked at Li Yang in front of him. It was difficult for him to see Li Yang's back clearly on the 10 steps before, but now the gap between him and Li Yang has been reduced by more than half. Is human Li Yang doing research, or is he trapped by a bottleneck? Lord Yu Heng couldn't help but think in his mind. Such a big gap was suddenly shortened, and thoughts that he shouldn't have had in his mind. If human Li Yang is trapped by a bottleneck, can I surpass him? Although this is extremely unlikely, it is still possible. He, Master Yu Heng, had previously surpassed Master Kuishan, who had always been number 1, and now he was still overwhelming Master Kuishan, full of confidence. Facing Li Yang, he might not have a chance. Hurry up and understand. When I catch up with human Li Yang, human Li Yang's mentality will probably change. Just like the Master of Kuishan, then it will be my chance to overtake him. Falling from the first place is the most affecting mentality. However, Yu Heng, the leader, did not win the first place, but his mentality was very peaceful. While thinking, Li Yang suddenly stood up and climbed the 22nd talent ladder. "Look, human Li Yang has moved." Instantly, all the strong men looked at Li Yang. Next, if human Li Yang can move forward quickly, it means that he was previously comprehending the 21st talent ladder, all the way to the 40th talent ladder. Just as they thought, Li Yang was obviously moving forward. 1 year later, Li Yang stepped onto the 22nd talent ladder. At this time, Lord Yu Heng was on the 17th talent ladder. 2 years later, Li Yang stepped onto the 23rd talent ladder. Lord Yu Heng was on the 17th talent ladder. 3 years later, Li Yang stepped onto the 24th talent ladder. Lord Yu Heng just stepped onto the 18th talent ladder. 7 years later, Li Yang stepped onto the 28th talent ladder. Lord Yu Heng took another step forward and just stepped onto the 19th talent ladder. The gap between them has reached 10 steps again. At this time, Lord Yu Heng looked at the gap between Li Yang and Li Yang, which was hard to see. He couldn't help but curse himself. What was I thinking before? I still wanted to catch up with the human Li Yang. Then Li Yang continued to make rapid progress. In the 70th year of inheritance, he stepped onto the 40th talent step and got 5 peak holy artifacts again. In the 150th year of inheritance, Li Yang stepped onto the 60th talent step. In the 350th year of inheritance, Li Yang stepped onto the 80th talent step. And in the 720th year of inheritance, Li Yang stepped onto the 98th talent step. At this time, Li Yang was only 1 step away from the 100th talent step.